Hey Jess, what do you got there? What do you got there, Cake?
I caught it!
Oh, I thought bunnies were for looking at our house.
You can look at it.
Are you?
See?
Ah! Okay, it's all frozen too. Is that because
It is. It doesn't move much. It's very solid.
And you're wearing the muckluck. Oh, you're planning a trip.
Maybe.
Are we going to the Arctic?
I think we're going to the Arctic.
The Arctic?
The Arctic.
Then I'm gonna bring my Arctic lamb.
How did you catch that? Those don't roam wild in the Arctic.
It's both food and a pillow.
I don't believe you caught that in the Arctic.
Well, maybe I did and maybe I didn't, or maybe this is aspirational.
Hey there, it's Cake.
And Whimsy. And we're having an alone special.
Alone, not as in we're quarantined away from the rest of the world, eh? But as in the Canadian show Alone, where they send people, survivalists, out into the Arctic in the season that they just posted on Netflix. And last man or woman standing for $500,000.
That's a mighty finely themed muckluck you got there.
I'm ready.
Whoop, whoop.
Hey, get your paws off.
I'm ready to go.
So for those of you who don't know this show, I highly recommend watching it. It's very entertaining. If you like Naked and Afraid,
yeah,
it's like that, only they have clothes because it's the Arctic. And it's more long-term. There's
Last
not
man standing.
You can't just starve yourself for a couple of weeks and like that's easy. But that can't be your game plan. You have to be in it for the long haul and make long-term plans, which is really exciting.
Mm-hmm. Or last woman standing, as the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
So we're addicted to this show now, and
we've only seen one season, but it was awesome.
It was a pretty amazing season. So we're heading out, and we got a hold of the list of things you got to choose from. They get to take 10 items from these lists, and then they're given things.
Yeah.
So, for instance, our mucklucks are given. My bear paws were given. The Harry Potter scarf, totally a given.
There's a list of items that you can, that they allow, that some of them they give you in supply, or they just have to approve for you. All of your clothing is on that list. Tracking and safety items, by tracking I mean tracking the contestants, like GPS systems and camera equipment. They give them like 40 pounds of camera equipment they have to haul around with everything else. And a special tarp that's only for the camera equipment. And then some of the things you have a choice on. For example, you get a choice of one hat, which can be brimmed, wool, or baseball. Or baseball. And then in another section, you get to pick one trapper's hat with ears, or a toboggan, which I think are the little knit caps.
Mine are better than yours, because mine has a monster on it.
You're gonna scare all of the wild animals away?
They are going to surrender immediately. So we thought it'd be fun to kind of compare lists a little bit and see. Do you mind if I go first?
Oh, please do.
Let me take
so
off
there
my
is
paws.
A fairly long list of items you can choose from for the 10 items that you pick to bring with you, and we'll include a link to the list that we found and used below. For this game that we've set up for ourselves, we're going to go based off season 6, which is currently streaming on Netflix. This is a History Channel show, by the way, just to give credit where credit is due. Season 6, which is in the Arctic of Canada.
Gotcha.
So that's our environment. We get 10 items from their list.
And they're broken down into categories. So I'm going to quickly go through this one here.
We haven't seen each other's list yet.
We haven't, but we're pretty sure that we're both going to have a lot of the same things on this list. So this ought to be interesting. So I have 20 meters of paracord.
Okay.
I have a saw. Gotta have a saw, right? How you gonna build a fire without
Just
a
call
saw?
it a sore.
Sore.
Gotta have a sore.
I have a sleeping bag because it's important to be warm and cozy. A fire starter because this boy don't have no skills.
Although that might be a fun video someday. Cake and Whimsy try starting fire.
A large pot, because why the heck would you want a small pot? Okay, and then I have 5 pounds of dried legumes, 5 pounds of hardtack, 5 pounds of pemmican, 2 pounds of rice, and 1 pound of salt, and an LED flashlight. That's right, I'm hobbiting this thing.
You're bringing so much food.
I am just staying in my little shelter, which isn't even, I don't even have a tarp for it. So I'm just wrapping myself up in my little thing, and I am gonna cook my little food and have that.
Just to be clear, this can last for months.
Oh yeah, that's why there's pounds and pounds of this stuff. I've got this well thought out, Jess. Well thought out.
Okay.
Sure, what do you
So
got?
those are your final answers, huh?
Oh.
Because it does say very clearly in the rules, once you have made your selection, you cannot change it.
Oh. Well, it's maybe not my final answer, but
Oh, do you have a secondary list?
that was if I wanted to hobbit it.
Oh, you have another list.
I was only kidding with that one.
Oh, okay, let's hear your real list
Do you
then.
really want to do? Okay, so I didn't know if you wanted to do yours. And
No,
I didn't.
no,
Okay,
please.
sure. I do still have paracord and a saw because, yeah, I still do have my sleeping bag. I have a fire starter, and I have a large pot still. I have no hygiene equipment because screw hygiene.
They do give you a toothbrush for free. So you can still brush your teeth, just not with toothpaste.
I'm not planning on becoming an Instagram star. I have
Just a YouTube one.
I have a 300-yard roll of fishing line and all the assorted equipment to go with that. 25 hooks. But that is all the assorted equipment. 1 small gauge gill net and 1 roll of trapping wire. I have 1 hunting knife and 1 LED flashlight.
Interesting.
What is your list got?
All right, I have a fire starter. That was the first thing on my list, even though it's out of order, because there's no way I'm doing this without one. Every time you see somebody who goes on to one of these shows who's like, I'm very confident in my fire making skills, I can do a hand drill, a bow drill, they always end up without fire.
Here's the thing you don't remember or you don't think about when your fire making skills are amazing. Are your fire making skills amazing when you haven't eaten in 7 days and you haven't slept in 5 days? Or are you
And the wood is wet. And...
Or are you a little foggy at that point?
Number 2, a hatchet instead of an axe or a saw.
Nice.
I went with hatchet because it's
All right.
small, it's light. I figure for me personally, I'm going to do better with saplings and smaller things for the energy that it's going to take instead of doing the bigger things.
That was my toughest decision, by the
Right?
way. A saw or a hatchet.
I toiled over that.
My last thing I cut was the hatchet.
I took a hunting knife.
Nice.
I had a struggle between hunting knife or Leatherman multi-tool because I figured it does a lot of the same things, plus you can get like a fish scaler and things like that in it, but...
Having watched someone try to skin animals with a Leatherman, I was all over the hunting knife, and I thought I might be able to use a hunting knife like a hatchet.
So, fire starter, hatchet, hunting knife, 550 paracord.
Nice.
I don't see how you could really not pick that.
We also both have a military background, so 550 cord is pretty pleasant to us.
I also picked sleeping bag, large pot with lid,
Ah, okay.
300 yards of fishing line with 25 hooks, because even though I hate fish, at that point you just eat what you can eat, and it seems like if you have more options of how you can get that food, you always have something when you've exhausted one.
Yeah.
Gill net,
Okay.
3.5 pound roll of trapping wire, because
Nice.
I will study and learn how to do traps before I go on that.
Yeah, I think we can assume that even though we don't have those skills,
Yes.
we'll learn up and we can figure out the rudimentary ones.
And then I picked the 2 pound bag of rice and the 1 pound of salt.
Nice.
Not because of the rice, but because a lot of people get dehydrated and sick from low electrolyte counts, and you need salt. And that is one of the things, I don't know how you can really functionally provide for yourself out in the wild that much, other than like fish roe and things like that.
That was
So
a tough one
that's
for
a
me
tough
to cut.
one.
I had that on my list, and I sadly had to say I couldn't keep it.
I feel like the salt was important, and then I can just space out the 2 pounds of rice as extra carbs once in a while and just hold on to it when I need that boost. So that's my list.
Oh, so you went without a flashlight at all?
Well, they give you a headlamp.
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
I
that's on the list of supplied things. See,
I missed the headlamp.
You gotta read your supplies.
Okay.
Headlamp. One headlamp, right there.
Oh, is that an emergency headlamp?
No, it doesn't. One headlamp.
Oh, see, I should have read my stuff better. I failed. I missed my important thing, and then I could have gotten salt. But
other things I would make sure to do before going out.
Yes.
Learning about the vegetation of the area. I feel like a lot of people don't do that as much as they should on this show. I would know all of the plants that are there, all of the herbs and medicinal things that are there, what the nutrients are of them, and be harvesting the crap out of them before the snow hits, and just dry them and keep them, because you have the perfect scenario to just pick all of it you can, dry it, and then use it when you need it.
One thing we have learned is eat your food when you get your food.
So animals don't steal it on you?
Yeah, because you're practically helpless against animals who will steal your food, so you might as well just eat it.
I did not pick a bow and arrow. My reasoning for that is because I don't think I can possibly come anywhere near being as good a shot as the people on this show are. And even they miss a lot of times. I have a bow and arrow that would be approved because they said mostly wood. It's entirely wood. That I can practice with, and I don't think I could practice enough for that.
About the only thing I could use a bow and arrow for maybe would be for fishing. If we tied a little string to it or something so we could get it back. Now, didn't we ask our friend Coffee to help out with this?
Coffee? You've met our friend Coffee on previous videos. He is quarantined in a different state, so he couldn't be here for this video. However, he is also hooked on this show now, and has sent us his list of 10 items.
Ooh. All right, I am
ready?
Very curious about this.
Oh, we haven't looked at this either. I just printed it out. 12 by 12 ground cloth.
Okay,
tarp.
So he's getting the extra ground cloth.
You do get a tarp besides the one to cover the equipment ahead of time, so that's the one I was planning on using. But
makes sense, yeah.
He also picked the sleeping bag.
Yep.
He also picked the paracord. He has a military background too. An axe. A pot with lid.
Yep.
Fire starter.
Yep.
Canteen.
Interesting.
I considered the canteen, but I just didn't have room for it in the end.
I did not consider the canteen.
The trapping wire.
Yep.
A hunting knife. And a saw. Wow, he went all in on the bladey stuff. Hunting knife, saw, axe. He did make a note here that he was really torn between the canteen and the salt.
Yeah, I think if I had to do it again, I would trade my flashlight for the salt.
I think salt is an underrated thing.
One.
You see a lot of them getting dizzy and ready to pass out, and a lot of times I think it's dehydration.
I didn't want to go through all the nights without any source of light, and I missed that there was a headlamp, so that would have been a failure on my part. I wouldn't have had salt.
Yeah.
So that's it. I considered making another list that was if I wanted to make a future of becoming a YouTube star after this. If I wanted to transition to that, and then I would take a lot of hygiene products and stuff, and be the best looking mountain man in Alaska
Your
or
Hobbit
Canadian
list was
wilds.
a delight.
But yeah.
With your pemmican, which is basically what, llama spread? It kind of translates.
I mean, there's hardtack too. I figure you can't eat hardtack too fast. That's gotta last a while.
Right. It's a very good show. I highly recommend it. I assume you do too. If you're in,
yeah, we're all addicted to it.
If you're enjoying our show and the random things we do,
give us 2 bear paws up.
Or hit the like button and the subscribe button.
Okay.
The subscribe button's really cool. I think you should. All the cool kids are doing it.
Monster will get you.
I think we're not even close to ready for our trip to the Arctic. So
let's just frost the cake. Hey, Jess.
Hey, Dan.